It's okay. It was good effort.
And as Montrealers, comme les Montréalaises, les Montréalais, on sait que Montréal, c'est vraiment la meilleure ville ici au Canada. Come on, c'est la meilleure ville ici au Canada. On a un seul problème. On a un seul problème avec le fait qu'on n'a pas de représentation ici sur l'île de Montréal pour le Parti conservateur. Et c'est certain qu'il faut changer ça le 21 octobre prochain. On a des fantastiques candidats ici au Québec et ici à Montréal. Friends, it's certain that the past 4 years are not what Justin Trudeau promised the Canadians in October of 2015. We have gone through not one, but 2 ethics scandals, where the independent ethics commissioner of Parliament has come out and said that Justin Trudeau and his government violated the law. This is the first time in Canadian history that this has happened. When you see somebody being so careless and reckless with his authority, when you are entrusted with the most important office in our land, and you act in such a way that is reckless and abusive and criminal, you have to go. And I was very proud to hear from our leader today that once a Conservative government is elected on October 21st, we will cut $1.5 billion of corporate spending, corporate money that shouldn't have been there in the first place, going to senior executives and CEOs and companies. It's waste, and that money is going to be going back in your pocket. That's money right there that will be able to go back in your pocket through a tax credit of $1,000 for art classes, sport classes, fitness classes, all announced by our Conservative leader Andrew Scheer in the past few months. C'est pas facile. C'est pas facile, soit ici à Montréal, soit en Alberta, soit en Colombie-Britannique, même à Toronto. C'est pas facile pour nous. Et à la fin de la journée, je sais qu'avec Andrew Scheer, on serait capable de former un gouvernement majoritaire le 21 octobre prochain avec les ministres et un cabinet fantastique. How many times that I have knocked on the doors of people who have told me they haven't been able to get the basic, essential services or even a return phone call or an acknowledgement of receipt of their email. Because Mark Miller has been doing an announcement, my adversary, over in British Columbia, or doing a ministerial announcement over in downtown Toronto, but hasn't been here in his riding, is completely unacceptable.
So in 2015, Miller won this riding by a pretty comfortable margin. What do you think has changed this time around?
Well, I think the fact of the matter is that he hasn't been very present on the ground over the past 4 years and has only really started doing his door knocking in the past few months because he realized, there's an election going on, I have to get reelected and I need to get back into the House. So I think you do a disservice to your constituents when you're not present in your riding the 4 years before an election, but just a few months before, then you start, door knocking and getting involved.
Any particular opinions regarding Andrew Scheer's comments on accidents?
I think at the end of the day, the most important thing for us to be able to have the ability to consult with our Indigenous populations and the ability to listen and ensure that whatever projects we're doing, they're involved and we have Indigenous workers being able to be a part of that. My experience with the Indigenous populations of Quebec, I was responsible for more than half of the Indigenous population in Quebec in terms of being able to ensure they had the right line of communication between their communities and our governments. So I was speaking day in and day out with these communities and ensuring that we could have, job creation and economic development that meant their communities getting back to work. And that's great, and I was thrilled to be a part of that. The Conservative government, we want to ensure that Indigenous populations are part of our economic development plans, and also when it comes to the environment. We have a great environment plan that came out. 55 points, and a major subsection in there is the fact that we want to ensure that Indigenous populations are adequately consulted, and consulted in accordance with the Supreme Court, having said that they need to be consulted under law.
Well, I'm here to represent Conservative Association of McGill University. I'm the president, so it makes sense why I'd be here. This is our riding that McGill is in, so I'm here to represent the club, help Michael out. You know, we've been getting volunteers out, you know, all new students or old students, so yeah.
What would you share the particular grievances that you do have right now with the Liberal Party, the Conservatives have with the Liberal Party?
Well, being a student, I mean, we used to have under Harper government and previous governments, we had where if you got textbooks, that was a tax write-off. That was taken away from us by the Trudeau government. So these are things that do influence how, you know, students are affected by the tax changes, and like, well, students in general who support Andrew Scheer, we support him because, you know, we're looking forward in the future. We're about to be out of university, some of us. We want to get jobs, and, you know, that's when taxes really start. So we want to make sure that we're not going to have such a high tax burden in the future, and we're outside of school.
So I've known Michael since 2018. He's a great candidate, great person. I think he'd be a great addition to Parliament. It's great to have young Conservatives in Ottawa. I think it's needed because a lot of right-wingers who are in university, from university to high school, are disenfranchised because of the current climate. I think having someone who can relate to them in our nation's capital is beneficial, and it's necessary for the party to move forward.